Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Learning Sound and Synthesis Spotlight Series interview. I'm here today with Kim Barke, and we're going to be getting into Kim's story and experience about being a complete beginner, not knowing anything about modular synthesis at all, and deciding to jump in, deciding that it's something she wants to learn, diving very deep head first, and in just a few months, making so much progress. We're going to get to hear about a book trailer that Kim scored and some meditation sound bath music that she's made and a lot more. So this is something I'm really excited to get into. Welcome to everyone who's tuning in live. It's great to see you here. Go ahead and drop a little hello in the chat and let us know you're here. If you're watching the replay, it's great to have you here as well. And go ahead and let us know that you're tuning in live or on the replay. Okay, so Kim, over to you. Can you start us off just with a little intro to who you are and maybe what kind of music you like to make?
Sure. First, Sarah, thanks so much for inviting me. I'm so excited and honored to be here. Great to see you. A little bit about me. I live in New York. I have a house in upstate New York near Hudson, and also a tiny apartment in Brooklyn that we go to sometimes. I work as a creative director in advertising. So I work with a lot of artists and writers and filmmakers and amazing, talented people, so I'm very drawn to that. I decided to, what piqued my interest with this class and learning about synthesis in the first place was my partner has a friend who's an artist, and he's been dabbling in performance art with his visual art and making sounds. And after one of his shows, I walked up to look at, his setup, and I was just enthralled. I was like, well, what is this? What are you doing? How do you do this? And I think coincidentally, around the same time, I think I saw an ad for your class, the Learning Sound and Synthesis class on Instagram, and I was like, let me learn more. So that's how it started.
Didn't you say that you're a poet as well, right?
I am.
And
yeah.
You were interested in maybe finding a way to set create some sounds for your poems, like either music to score them or just sound design. Is that correct?
That's true. Another thread that had been going on. I started writing poetry when I was about 11, and I have 2 books published, but I was also in this poetry group with one of my yoga friends, and we both love music, and we were both like, well, we write poems. Why can't we write songs? Like, what's the difference? And but not knowing instruments and not being able to just pick up a guitar and come up with a melody, this seemed like, well, maybe this is a way to do it. Maybe there's a way to write songs kind of through the through the back door if you have lyrics. And I'm still sort of curious about the difference between a poem set to music, sort of it was scored, and a song. I think they're different. I don't exactly know how, but I think they are. So I'm sort of interested in that too.
That's great. Okay, so wow, there's so many thoughts going through my head right now about like coming in this the way that you did. You're like, I'm just curious. Let's just jump in. Let's see what this is all about. And I also love that you're combining these creative interests that you have, and that you're just like, I write poetry. Why can't I write music? I love that. I think that's such a great question. So what was that experience like diving in? Can you share a bit about that, getting into the world of modular?
I was just obsessed. Once the class started, I was just, any minute that I have, and my job is very demanding. I work from, probably, 8:39 in the morning till 6 in meetings, but then there's usually work I have to do at night. And so it would be probably Friday night that I would finally have some free time, and Saturday. And as soon as my last meeting ended on Friday, I would dive in. And my partner would sometimes come into the living room and say, hey, do you want to watch him? Oh, okay. And she might have, and She just got used to the fact that I was upset. And luckily she really enjoyed seeing me happy. She said it's just like it just brings you so much joy, that she was willing to sacrifice our couple time, for this new obsession that I have. And she's an artist too, so she gets it, I think. But I was just totally consumed and obsessed and spent every spare minute that I had learning. The class is just so well put together, like the way that it's built, and um, the science behind it, and it just made it so easy to understand and build to the point when I wanted to make my own original sound. I could figure it out. Like I was like, okay, I have to use this component. I have to use this in this sequence, and maybe it'll work. And if it doesn't, I can figure out, how to fix it. So it's just awesome.
I'm very happy to hear that. It's really refreshing and inspiring to hear you just talk about how you just decided to do it. You didn't know anything about it. You kind of had no clue, and you went for it, and you just were like, yeah, I'm going to figure this out. And like every Friday or every spare little pocket of time, you just took your next step. I'm emphasizing this because I think so many people can feel like the mountain that they have to scale to try to learn something new is just so much, right? It's like, oh, well, I don't have every day of the week. I don't have 30 minutes a day or whatever people say I need. There's so much I don't know. Like, how can I even get started? And so it's a nice reminder that you just like, well, I had some time on Friday evenings. I had some Saturdays. I just did what I could in that time. And like, look at where you're at now. So actually, let's talk about the progress and maybe some of the things that you did. What are you most, if you could pinpoint maybe one or two things that you're most excited about that you've accomplished in the last few months, what would those be?
Well, I have a very small, it's not a publishing company. It's I call it a micro press, and I help my friends publish their books. And so my friend Nick, who's a playwright, was really wanted to publish his first book of essays and short stories. And I thought, let's do a trailer. Let's make a big splash with this book. We're really excited about it. And so I said, what kind of music do you want to go along with it? And he said, a whale sound. And I'm like, okay, all right, let's see. Let's go with that. So I could understand. It's a very emotional book. It's very personal, and whales have that very, that really primal sound that I think we all, kind of relate to, even though they're underwater and we're not. Like, there's something that we can relate to. So I thought, I'm going to try to figure out how to make this whale sound now. And that's what I did. So it took a while. I did a few different takes and sent him things, and he's very generous, luckily, with my initial drafts, and then finally landed on something he loved. So I used that along with some art that we generated to create a trailer for his book that launched just a few weeks ago.
That's amazing. Okay, let's take a look at the trailer. I'm going to pull it up here, and let's take a little listen and look at this. That's so great. That's so cool. What does it feel like to do this? I'm so curious. Like, not only release a book that's
Yeah.
probably something you're so proud of and so excited to support your friend in this way, but then also to make the music for the trailer.
I like it. I mean, I like to be able to do things, like I feel like we're at this amazing point in history where if you want to do something, you can just do it. I mean, you have to invest some time and you have to learn how, but there aren't the big obstacles and hurdles, for creative people to do things like there used to be.
Right.
You just have to figure it out, and maybe it's not always going to be good. I mean, this is very simple sounds,
But they
very
work.
simple
Yeah.
wail, crying, and then the very simple percussion. So it's not like a symphony or anything, but it worked. Like it worked for him, and he was happy with it. And so it's nice because you don't have to spend a ton of money to get it. You get to do what you want, and it feels
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, that's really great. You get to be so much more embedded into your whole creative process too with that, right?
Hmm.
Which is something that I always really remember for myself when I first started learning modular synthesis and electronic music in general was the kind of feeling of agency that I had over
Hmm.
my entire creative practice was really new. Like I was used to having to rely on other people, someone else to record, someone else to do, a sound design over here, someone else
Hmm.
to produce. And all of a sudden I was like, wow, it's not that collaborating I didn't want to collaborate. Collaboration's wonderful. That's not the point. It's more like, wow, I can kind of have an idea and like bring it into the world all
Yeah.
on my own now. And that's huge. That's like a
Hmm.
very exciting thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you don't have to wait either.
You don't have to wait. You could just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, what else? Is there any I mean, I know you've done so much, but is there anything else in particular that you want to highlight that you're feeling proud of?
Oh, I did that whale music in the trailer when I was on module 5, which was, you know, midway through the class, but very, mind blowing module, right? Like that one took a long time to get through and a lot of things to learn and figure out. Toward the end of the class, toward the end of the year, because I tried to stay on schedule in the last cohort in the fall. Um, I did something much more complicated.
Mhm.
I had gone to a yoga retreat in Mexico and was participated in a sound bath, with these crystal bowls and rain sticks and all kinds of things. And I had such a deep, deep relaxation. I thought, I wonder if I can make something like that. And so that was a lot of work and tinkering. I put together about 7 voices. Drone sounds coming in and out, sequenced. Also, I mixed things. I would love to figure out. I don't really know yet how. I would love to know how you could sequence a mixer. I don't know how that, but like that would be cool, to figure that out. But so that's a long piece too. It's about 25 minutes long.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, and I probably almost smoked my computer creating it in VCV Rack. But
That's awesome. Do you want to listen to a few? We've got a few minutes
yeah,
of that we
yeah,
could pull
yeah,
up
sure.
here. Let
Yeah, that
me
would be
just
great.
bear with me while I get the screens sorted. I think that this will do the trick. We're seeing that now on your, yeah, perfect. Okay, here we go.
Squarespace is
Whoops,
designed
hang
to
on one
sell.
second here. All right.
Yeah, so thanks for sharing that. So that's just a small part of a piece that goes on. It goes on for 26 minutes, and there's I was, there, I don't know if you've heard of this, but they're like in the yoga community, new age community, they talk about these healing frequencies. And it's
Mhm.
cool, like with the VCOs, you can set the exact frequency. So I was playing with that as well.
Yeah.
A lot of reverb, because they vibrate, and so it's fun. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Lots of folks in the comments are sending you some virtual applause
Thank
right
you.
now. So, yeah, thanks for sharing that. It's really lovely, and again, just awesome to see how you're, taking all of these things that you're learning in this course, and you're just like putting them to use. It's the number one thing that I always encourage people to do, is not just to be a good student and like learn the stuff, but make something with it, put it into action, see what it's like when you inject yourself into it. And I think that it's just so great to see you doing that.
Thank you. Thank you for all the encouragement and wisdom. And such a delight to learn all about this from you.
It is truly my pleasure. And on that note, that's a nice segue. For those of you who are watching, who are maybe curious about the world of modular synthesis, if it's something that you want to get into, making your own electronic music, making your own meditation music, whatever it might be, my class, Learning Sound and Synthesis, is potentially a good next step for you. It is a online program that will walk you through everything that you need to make music with modular synths. Even if you're like Kim and you have no prior experience in this world and you're just like, you know what, I'm curious, I want to go, let's do it. You don't need formal music training. You don't need a background in, technology. You don't even need to have a synth, because the whole class is taught using a program called VCV Rack, which is free and it runs on your computer. And it's just an amazing, amazing resource. So yeah, if you're curious about this, what I'm going to do is just pop a link up on the screen to soundandsynthesis.com. You can go over there. That will bring you to the wait list for the class. You can drop your name and email in, and you'll be notified when the doors open for enrollment, which is actually in 1 week. And I'm really, really excited. The spring 2024 cohort starting in 1 week. If you have questions about what the class involves and if it's a good fit for you or any of that kind of stuff, you can send me a DM or an email anytime, and I'd be happy to chat more. So Kim, I'm curious to kind of pass back over to you. Do you have any maybe words of advice or encouragement or anything that you'd offer someone who's watching about their own creativity? It could be someone who's like, I kind of want to do this, or just in general, anything coming to mind?
Yeah, I think if you're curious, do it, because it's fascinating and it's fun. And when you tell your friends that you're doing it, people want to know more. They're like, wait, what? What are you doing? Tell me what? So yeah, I mean, it's this whole world. Once you crack open the door, it's just endlessly fascinating. So I'd say do it. I also took your Moog Mavis class. So I have that as my first piece of equipment, which is really exciting too. So
That's
having
awesome.
fun. Yeah.
What's coming up for you, Kim? Do you have any plans for new projects?
Oh, I have a show.
Amazing.
Yeah, I wrote. It's not It's not really music, but I might have some recorded music. I wrote a one-person play, and performing it in the New York City Fringe Festival, and also there's a preview in Hudson on March 1st. So I'm heavy in rehearsals right now for that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is so
super
cool.
exciting. Yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
And you mentioned before we jumped on the call that there was something going on in that area that you thought folks might be interested in. Do you want to share about that as well?
Yeah. So there's a music venue called Basilica, which is this beautiful old stone warehouse building right on the Hudson River. You can walk to it from Amtrak. And they do, every year they do a 24-hour drone. People come with their sleeping bags and pillows and hang out, and they have musicians come from all over the world. So I would highly recommend it for, if you can make it up here to attend. But also, even more importantly, they have an open call right now for musicians. And they're looking for things that are interesting, different, not typical electronic music. So if you're doing anything, like Sarah, I know you do electroacoustic. Maybe there are other people that do that sort of thing. That's exactly what they want. So
Cool.
I can share the link for the open call.
Okay, so what we'll do is after we're done with this, just we'll take a moment, we'll track down that link, and we'll add it to the comments. So if people are curious about checking that out, you'll have that in there in the comments. Is there anything else you want to say, Kim, before we wrap up?
No, just thank you so much for all you do. It's really wonderful, the community you created and the classes. I mean, you're really inspiring.
Well, thank you. Thank you for being part of it. I hope that you'll continue to, join us in the future cohorts. Just a good reminder that when you enroll in Learning Sound and Synthesis, you are welcome. You have lifetime access to the program. So come back. We love seeing people come back into the community, into the coaching calls. It just makes the community more vibrant and more supportive every single time we run a new cohort. So I hope that we'll continue to see you around. Thanks for everyone. Yeah, thank you so much for everyone who's tuning in live and watching. And thank you so much, Kim, for sharing your experience and your music. I can't wait to hear what comes next. I will definitely be keeping an ear open.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care.
Bye, everyone.